Okay, so we've talked a little bit about making our translation sound natural, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though that means kind of deviating a little bit from the original,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because we want our translations to sound natural, right? We want them to sound normal. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of the cases we've seen so far where I've told you just translate what's natural has had to do with TLDR phrases.
Oh.
And that's because TLDR phrases it's just kind of one of those things that's used a little bit differently across languages.
Okay.
Right? So in this lesson, we're going to be talking about kind of different scenarios where you end up having to naturalize your translation when you have a TLDR phrase in a sentence.
Okay.
Okay, so we'll be going through a few scenarios one by one, looking at examples. Okay, so scenario number 1 is when you end up having to kind of shift the order of the TLDR phrase to make things sound natural. So look at an example here. أنزل الله من السماء ماء. So we're looking at an action sentence here, right? Allah sent down, so Allah, our doer, right? Sent down, action. From the sky, water, right? From the sky, that's our TLDR.
Mm-hmm.
And then water is our receiver,
Mm-hmm.
right? Anything kind of sound weird about this?
Well, normally say Allah sent down water from the sky.
From the sky, right? Allah sent down water from the sky. And so what are we doing here? What are we changing about this translation?
We're moving the TLDR?
Yeah, all we're doing is moving the TLDR from the middle of the sentence to the end of the sentence, right? And this is something you're going to find yourself having to do often because in English, right, the norm is to put TLDR at the very end, right? Whereas in Arabic, the position of the TLDR is really flexible, right?
I see.
It can appear anywhere.
I see.
Right? So that's one thing you're going to end up having to do. Regardless of where it is in the Arabic, just plop it at the end in the English.
Okay.
Let's look at another example. So that was an action sentence. Let's look at an is sentence here. وَهُمْ عَنْهَا مُعْرِضُونَ. So hum and anha unrelated, so that's where our first break is. That's where the is goes. So they are, right? They, hum, and then are, that's our first is. And then anha, turning away, that's our TLDR, or from it. And then mu'ridun is turning away. So they are from it, turning away. Sounds weird, eh?
Yeah.
We'd normally say they are
Turning away from it.
turning away from it, right? Again, we're doing the same thing here, right? The anha, right, the TLDR, from it, is appearing in the middle of the sentence in the Arabic, right? But when we translate naturally in English, we're going to put it at the
End.
Right, at the end. Okay, so what was principle number 1?
Principle number 1 was TLDR phrases translate at the end of sentences
Yes.
in English.
Right, regardless of where they are in the Arabic, just put it at the end in English because that's what sounds normal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, scenario number 2 is rephrasing sentences. So what does that mean? So let's look at this. لِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. So our first break is here between lillahi and mulk. So that's for Allah is the dominion of the skies and the earth, right? And that's kind of just going a word by word translation, plopping our is in there. Sounds a bit weird though, right? You don't say, for me is a pencil, right?
You'd say, I have a pencil.
You'd say, I have a pencil, or for me is the pencil. You'd say, the pencil belongs to me, right?
Okay.
You just don't express things that way in English,
Mm-hmm.
right? So here, it's not just a matter of kind of moving the TLDR phrase around. We end up having to shift the entire sentence, rephrase the whole sentence to make it sound normal, right? So instead of saying, for Allah is the dominion of the skies and the earth, we're going to say, the dominion of the skies and the earth belongs to Allah, right?
So, with the example, like for me as a pen, we said we can also say, I have a pencil, or I have a pen. So can we say Allah has the dominion of the skies and the earth?
Yeah, you could say that as well, right? You could say that as well. Okay. Bottom line is, in English, we don't say for someone is something.
Okay.
You just don't say that because it doesn't sound normal, so you end up having to rephrase. And this one can make you feel a little hesitant maybe because you're kind of changing things up a lot, but you notice that the base meaning is still the same.
Yeah.
Right? You're still expressing that someone has something or something belongs to someone, right? You're just rephrasing it to make it sound normal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's okay. It's not blasphemous.
Okay.
You can do it.
All right.
Okay, let's look at another example here. فيهما فاكهة ونخل ورمان. So here we have in them is, that's our first break, or in them are fruits, date palms, and pomegranates. Right? Sound a bit odd, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right? You don't say in the car is a box of tissues, you say
there's a box of tissues in the car.
There's a box of tissues in the car. Right? So same thing here. Instead of saying in them are fruits, dates, and pomegranates, we'd say there are fruits, dates, and pomegranates in them.
Okay.
Right? So again, here we're not just moving, shifting the order or anything. We're completely rephrasing the sentence to make it sound normal.
Gotcha.
Right? And actually, this one, it's not super open-ended, right? This principle, it happens with particularly mostly these two types of sentences, right?
What are these two types of sentences?
So the first one we saw is one that expresses something belonging to someone.
Okay.
Right? So if you ever end up with a translation that says for someone is something, you can just reframe it to blah blah belongs to someone.
Or someone has.
Or someone has something.
Okay.
Right? And the second case in which it happens is this. Something is in something. Right? You'd say
there are?
Yeah, there are somethings in something. That's a lot of somethings. Right? But you get the point, right?
I think so, yeah.
You think so? Okay. So that's 2 down. Okay. Second to last one. 2 more. The third scenario in which you might have to be a bit flexible is when you're translating the TLDR word itself, right? So here we have a sentence, yujadilu fi ayatillah, which we're translating as he argues, which yujadilu, he argues. And then fi, we're translating as about.
I thought fi meant in.
It does normally, right? It does normally. But in English, do you say someone argues in something?
No, you say someone argues about something.
We say someone argues about something, right? So fi normally means in, right? But in English, you just don't say that, right? You just don't say he argues in the signs of Allah. We say he argues about the signs of Allah, right? So even though we learned, right, a set definition for each of our TLDR words, right, sometimes you're just going to have to translate it a bit differently. We actually saw this before in our last lesson. We said qaribun min al-bayt, right? And you wanted to say is close from the house. But in English we say
close to.
Close to. Even though min normally means from, right? It's just not how you say things in English, right? So here it should be pretty easy intuitive, right? Whatever sounds normal in English is what you should be doing.
Okay.
Right? Regardless of the original definition.
Okay.
Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah. So did I waste my time memorizing all the TLDR definitions if we're just gonna...
if it's just gonna change and if you can just invent them? No. So most of the time they do stick to their original meanings. Okay. Right? Most of the time they do. But sometimes they'll be different and you have to be flexible when they are.
Okay.
So you didn't waste your time.
Good to know.
Okay. And then the last scenario we're going to look at is omitting and inserting TLDR words. So let's look at an example here. كذب بآيات الله. We're translating as he denied the signs of Allah. So كذب is he denied, and then بآيات الله is the signs of Allah. But what are we doing with this be? What does be normally mean?
With. Or because of.
Yeah, with or because of. Do I have a with or because of in our translation?
No.
He denied the signs of Allah. Right? So we're just completely getting rid of something in translation. We're completely getting rid of the be. Okay. Right? And why are we doing that? Does it sound normal to say he denied with the signs of Allah? Or
no.
No, it's not, right? He denied the signs of Allah. It's just that kadhaba this action is associated with be in Arabic.
Okay.
That's how you say it in Arabic. But in English, we just don't say it that way.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes you're going to have to just completely ignore a TLDR word in translation in order to make it sound natural.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Is that kind of scary, omitting something in your translation?
Yeah. It feels like you're, I don't know, changing a lot when you're not. When a word is there, but you're not putting it in your translation, it seems
dramatic. But just keep in mind that all these principles, right, they're under the same umbrella principle of just make things sound natural. Okay. Right? So we're not like, it's not like it's a dramatic change in meaning. You're just making things sound normal.
So it's not like you're not changing Quran or anything.
You're not changing Quran. You're just translating it naturally.
Okay.
So, and then here we have actually an example of the opposite. So, كلم الله Musa. So, كلم here means to speak. And then Allah is our doer. right? So Allah spoke.
Mm-hmm.
And then Musa is the receiver. But we're not saying Allah spoke Musa. We're saying Allah spoke
to
Musa. But is there anything in the Arabic that means to? All we have is kalama, which means speak, and then we have Allah, and then we have Musa.
No, there's no TLDR word there at all.
There's no TLDR there word at all, right? But why are we putting it in there?
Because you don't say someone spoke someone.
Exactly. In English, we just don't say someone spoke someone. We say someone spoke
to someone.
To someone, right? To someone. So these are actually two examples of the opposite, right? Sometimes you'll have it in Arabic, right? But you'll have to get rid of it. Sometimes you won't have it in Arabic, and you'll have to add it in there.
Okay.
Okay?
That seems even scarier than taking it out.
It's not that scary. All you're doing is making things sound normal.
Okay.
So are we clear on our 4 scenarios?
I think so. Can we review them?
Yes, let's review them. So what was the first one? That one's a simple one.
So it was shifting the order, meaning we translate the TLDR at the end.
Yeah, translating at the end because that's what's normal in English, regardless of where it comes in the Arabic.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was?
Naturalizing, rephrasing?
Rephrasing, right? Rephrasings. Sometimes you just have to shift the entire sentence to make it sound normal, right? And do you remember it usually happens in 2 specific scenarios?
Oh, and you say someone has something?
Right, someone has something. Instead of saying for someone is something, you just say someone has something or something belongs to someone. And the second one was?
There is or there are.
Yeah, there is something in something, right? Okay. Instead of, as you would in Arabic, saying in them are fruits, you say there are fruits in them.
Okay.
Okay. And then scenario number 3 was
being flexible about how we translate the TLDR.
Yeah, being flexible, right? We saw he argues about Allah, even though it says fi. Fi is normally in, right? And then the last one was?
Omitting and inserting.
Yeah, omitting and inserting. So sometimes it's there in the Arabic, but you have to get rid of it. Sometimes it's not there in the Arabic, and you have to add it in.
Put it in. Okay.
Okay, are we all clear?
Yeah.
Okay.